Hey everybody, just thought I'd pop in for a minute. I haven't been feeling real well. Hey Ruby, glad to see ya. I was gonna go live within the last couple days and I just got really sick. I don't know if it was just the stress of losing my dog and not getting any sleep, and I hadn't been eating well and stuff, so I've been feeling pretty crappy. But I wanted to come on today, and I'm just talking about a bunch of different stuff, Ruby. So if you want to come up, you're more than welcome to. Hi, Selena Dixon. Thank you for coming. Oh, you did. You okay? Wait a minute. I'm gonna bring the link down to you. I just thought I'd better come on today. I've got a couple things I want to talk about. Um, but you're more than welcome to come up. First off, I don't know if anyone's seen the video that Kraken Cases did, where he was talking to Dudley Ajon, and I guess he had said that he had done it a while back or something. One thing I want to say about that, Cam, you're not good at lying about who you are. First, you told Dudley that you were Ryan from somewhere. And then, when he asked you again who you were, you said that you were Edward from the Times. Cam, you're not a good liar, dude. And also,
What's Cam done? I missed it.
oh my gosh, he just put out a video where he said that he had talked to Dudley Ajon. Remember, I think
Yeah.
I think I did some lives about
I don't watch Cam, so I don't know what he does
well,
over
I
there.
did some lives on the Dudley interviews that he had did with Molly, and then I think her name's Jay for Justice, and
Mm-hmm.
I just got a little bit tickled because it was like and maybe it was just me. It just made he made it seem like he had caught this guy up in what he was saying, which he did not. But what I found amusing was because at first he told Dudley that he was Ryan from the I don't know,
Oh my God.
some newspaper, right? Well, further on,
Mhm.
Dudley says, "Who are you again?" And he said, "I'm Edward from the Times." And I'm
Oh,
like,
he's so
dude,
full of
why
shit.
didn't you tell him who you were and talk to him like a normal person? You
What
know,
is it with these people overselling themselves of who they really are?
it's just ridiculous because you know what?
Insane.
And told Dudley that he wasn't a YouTuber, he didn't do that YouTube stuff and all this crap. And I'm like, you know what? A lot of people have more respect for somebody if he would have called and said, "Hey, my name's Cam, and I've been working closely with the family, but I've got some questions for you." He probably would have
Mhm.
talked to him. I mean, that's
Yeah, but
uh,
I can't. I tried being like reasonable, I should say, maybe, and listened to Cam a few times, but he just seems way too blind when it comes to Don and Candace, and he just tries to make excuses and overlook too much stuff for my taste.
Selena, I hope you've had a good day today. But, one thing I wanted to go over too, some of the comments that I've gotten and stuff. And, I do know that there are a lot of people who, I've got comments that Dawn loves summer and different things like that. And what I've, I've never said Dawn didn't love summer.
Right.
But what I have said, if you go back and you listen to Don Wells interviews and things that the way that he speaks of Summer, he,
Mm-hmm.
it's like he's not speaking of her as a little girl. And
Right. It's just a little too creepy for me.
it's very creepy. And
And Cam overlooks that kind of stuff. And I just think, while it's okay to have respect for the family and, innocent until proven guilty and all that and show both sides, I'm not sitting here wanting Don and Candace to be guilty.
well, I don't think
But
anybody is.
I mean, he just is way too blind and naive when
The
it comes
bad
to
thing
the
about it,
information.
I seen I think Shay Safe Place had done a video where she was asking, how long had Prayer Garden known Don and Candace? And I was like, a lot longer than what everybody thinks. And I've been saying that since the beginning, and she just, where supposedly she lives, there's no way that her and Don didn't meet up. I could almost, that's just the way I feel about it. Some may feel differently, but one thing I want to say, I've never told anybody not to like Don or Candace. I've gave my opinion on it. I've showed a lot of the bull crap that they've done. I'm definitely going to get into the letters. I got it scheduled for Monday for sure. But if you go back and look at the letters, he never mentioned Summer's name. Maybe
It's all about Don's pity party.
it is. It's all about Don Wells. And people just don't, I don't understand how people can.
I had this. I got to tell you this. I've not told very many people this story, but I had an old boyfriend, and he would create this horrible scenario, like someone just died. My grandma just died. My mother died. The sweet little woman that lived next door to us, my whole childhood died. My buddy got shot by a gangbanger. He would make up all these stories for you to feel sympathy for him.
Exactly.
And after the first couple of tragedies, I started picking up this pattern. And I'm like, you have to create these sad sob stories for attention. And for a guy to do that, it was just so weird to me. I get women, doing that kind of thing, but for a guy to do it,
right, and
it just seemed weird.
This is the thing that I've been telling people from the beginning. If you have followed this case from the very beginning, a lot of times he says they want friends. He even says he had no friends.
He's trying to use this tragedy of Summer for his own insecure attention and make friends.
Yeah. And Candace
I'm
also,
sorry,
he didn't have any friends either.
He's not going to find that in people like the devil of Texas. Well, that man don't care about nobody but his damn self.
Yeah, the thing about it is, and hey, I'm not going to tell anybody how they should feel or think.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have heard the things that Don Wells has said, and what a narcissist that he really is.
Yeah.
And the things that in his mind he says could have happened to Summer, they're disgusting.
I could not. I could not repeat those things out of my mouth about my own 3 girls.
No, nobody. I
My
mean,
2 daughters and my granddaughter. I couldn't even repeat that shit out of my mouth. You just have to shoot me in the head.
I have followed true crime cases most of my life, and I've
Yeah.
never ever heard of a missing child case where one of the parents spoke like that about their missing child.
Never.
So
I mean, even Susan Smith got on TV and faked it.
Oh yeah.
But
well, yeah,
she never come out and gave no kind of horrid details of what she thinks is possibly happening to her 2 little boys.
Yeah,
by this carjacker that she came up with.
Said he was a black guy, remember?
Yeah. She could have went on a racist rant and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I also had a comment about the N-word, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was.
He called Dolly that when I was live on Dolly.
He calls everybody that, and you can chalk that up to. I wanted to say, and I think I commented back that a lot of men who are in prison pick up that verbiage and stuff and use it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. I really don't think that Don Wells would ever walk up to a black man and call him that. But he feels he has free reign to call every white creator.
Yeah.
I don't think Don has a lot of balls. I think he,
right.
I think that he did go to prison, and maybe in his
he wouldn't walk up to one of those black guys in prison and say that. I can tell you that.
Well, that's the whole point, and I don't justify anybody saying that. I never have.
I'm ashamed that I grew up in a little town in central Arkansas where that was a common word. And once we came to understand that was not a nice word, well, we stopped using it. I mean, like I had a boy break up with me because of my friend Robert. This boy that lived in my neighborhood, he didn't hang out with the kids in my neighborhood. He hung out with the kids over in the neighboring neighborhood. And so he and I were not friends. He didn't know shit about my life. But yet he took it upon himself to go tell this guy that I was dating that I'm an N-word lover because I hang out with Robert. And that boy broke up with me.
Yeah, I mean,
my granddaughter's mixed.
Unfortunately, there is still a lot of racism in the world. And
yes.
I know that people say that, it's becoming different and stuff like that, but you go into the South and different places like that.
Right. These hardcore, I mean, I one of the most heartbreaking cases I have ever covered was Ahmaud Arbery, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. That case, I cried and I cried for his parents.
Do you remember the case? And I'm trying to think of the boy's name, but he was gay, and they had taken him out.
I've heard that. I know that story very well. I cannot remember that kid's name.
His name, but it was really big. It was a
yes. Really he was a white kid though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was white.
But they took him out and did that horribly tortured him for being gay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible.
That was horrible, and but this reminded me of something because a long time ago I had watched a show, and I can't remember what it was on, but it was called Sugar Babe, I think. And it was about this girl named Vera Joe Regal. Okay. And I mean, the mother of these boys, and there was like 5 boys, I want to say, um, this girl, she wanted her sons by the age of 15 and 16 to get girls pregnant. She wanted a daughter because all of her children had been taken away for because of SA from her, from the mother, right? And so she did have a daughter, and she was 6 months old and was taken away from her because the baby had been raped. Okay, and I'll say trigger warning, everybody.
Yeah.
But what it came down to was, so this, I think she was Vera was 22 or something, and had a baby by one of her sons. And
oh my God.
but Vera had the mind of like an 8-year-old. So everybody in that house was drawing some form of disability, right?
Yeah.
Vera was also drawing disability, and somehow they got her check signed over to them. Okay. And so this mother, her name was Sherry. And when Vera had a little girl, she basically said it was her baby. So what they started doing was they started, they wouldn't let Vera hold the baby. They didn't want her going near the baby. They started physically abusing Vera, and not with just little slaps and stuff. They were literally punching her. Well, her firstborn, named Scotty, was actually her son by her uncle, I want to say. It was her uncle or her cousin. But he even said that the mother had sexually abused him. So this other kid comes into the home with his little 17-year-old girlfriend who ran away from home, and they start abusing her. Hi, Kiki. They start abusing her, and I mean beating on her severely. Then they decide, another son's wife or girlfriend or whatever, somehow mace got sprayed. They sprayed Vera with mace, and it made the girl sick. She went to the hospital, came back, said she lost a baby, right? Well, they decided that they were going to kill Vera.
Oh my Lord.
They beat her, Ruby. They beat her so bad, took her to the railroad track and stabbed her repeatedly. And what they were going to do was they were going to throw her on the railroad track, so that way it would seem like the train ran over her. And they had
that don't always work out. Believe me, I know that's how I came into true crime.
time trigger warning because they had slit her throat so bad, and thought that if the train ran over her, then. But Vera had enough strength in her that she pulled herself off the rails, and there was like 1 inch from if the train would have went over her, it would have passed over her, but the train thought it was a deer carcass on the tracks, and so the train stopped. These people,
my God,
it was like a house full of people that were in a frenzy.
Mm.
They did some of the most horrible stuff to her, just horrible.
Mm.
So I was gonna go over that and put the interviews that they did out and stuff. I mean, that
Yeah.
is just the most saddest thing. And you know, with her mind and her mentality being as young as she was, um, I don't know why she didn't leave. You know,
Yeah.
run out or anything. Um, but yeah, they beat her pretty bad. They took a belt and put a big old bicycle lock on the end of it and beat her really badly, and busted her lip and broke her nose. And um, they said that almost every bone in her face was broken. They had beat her badly.
That is so horrible.
Because Mama Sherry, who her nickname was Sugar Babe, decided
Sorry, I keep yawning.
that she wanted Vera's baby, and they figured they could get rid of Vera and keep the baby. It's a horrible case, horrible case. But you know, I that's the thing. I you know, everybody loves true crime. I think that's a big thing with the world.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves true crime. Everybody watches CSI and
yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, we've kind of all really been raised on it. You know, in different generations, we had crime fighting cartoons when we were kids, like Batman and Wonder Woman and the Bionic Man and
right,
things like that. And then we come into the area where real true crime shows like CSI and NCIS and Law and Order and
well, I think
all that stuff.
Where I get kind of frustrated, especially with this case, because I have followed it for so long and I have everything written down. And then I'll hear someone put out information that's not right.
Yeah.
And then people believe that information.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, no, that's not right. This is what exactly is happened with that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, if they've got 100 people in chat, then they're going to go with that, what they're hearing.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, some of these people just, go with whatever they hear on their favorite channel and stuff, and.
Well, I don't know if Cam's gotten any better about calling people and acting like he's a newspaper guy.
I don't know. Last I heard about him, he was beefing with Bullhorn Betty.
Oh, he's been beefing with her for a long time.
So
they're always beefing about something. It's the thing about it is what I find sad is you're taking the case of a little 5-year-old girl and you're trying to one up each other. Yeah, you're
exactly.
Well, I'm better than you.
It's silly.
I actually went to Tennessee, so I know more than you, and things like that. And it's like, number one, I don't care if you have met Don and Candace. They're going to make you see them the way they want you to see them.
Exactly.
I mean, that's common sense.
Haven't we learned that by now? But to completely ignore stuff, the way he has, or I feel like he has, or try to make excuses for it, or, he just a little too.
Well, I think with Cam, and I don't know Cam personally, but just watching him all this time, he wants to be important. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because everybody wants to feel important.
Right.
But, I think that and I'll say he wants to be important for Summer. I'll even go that far to say he
Right.
wants to be important for Summer.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody does. It's nothing
but
but a big competition.
that's the sad thing about it. You shouldn't have to compete about anything.
No.
And I heard someone saying that Robin Lane, when she left the recital that night, that she called David Dotson. No, David Dotson called her.
Right.
Those are just little things that if they get tweaked, um, can
Mhm.
make it have a totally different meaning.
Yeah, and that's where you just spin off into so many conspiracy theories and so many different tales of the story. You lose sight of
Yeah,
the
because
the
I mean,
main facts and the main details. That's why I said Summer Wells's case has reached Tupac Shakur,
well, that's the thing. I
infamy.
mean, if you take it and you go, okay, well, when she left that recital, she called David Dotson, then you're going, well, Candace had called her repeatedly, so why would she call David Dotson first?
Right.
Okay. But then the question is, David Dotson called her and she answered the phone for David, knowing that Candace had been calling off the hook. And
Hmm.
then Candace called while she was talking to David, and she went ahead and answered the phone.
Yeah.
My question on all of that is, if she was concerned about Summer missing, why did it take her 2 hours to get out there? Why would you go home and get flashlights and snacks
Well, I
to
mean,
to look
I
for
mean that's just preparing for the situation you're going into, but
but you're looking for a little girl in the dark
right.
in the woods who doesn't have shoes on? I've said that from the beginning. Summer's
I
supposedly
mean,
going to have
I'm
shoes
sure
on.
she probably didn't take it like that serious.
I
You
think
know,
that Candace had cried wolf so many times about her
yeah.
that when she started calling people, that they didn't think it was a big deal.
Well, and naive people. I don't mean to be ugly, but naive people like Robin Lane, they don't think about the horror that's out there, and they're oblivious to the horror that's out there. So I'm sure she just thought, oh, Summers wandered off, or gone over to the neighbor kid's house, or something. She didn't take anything like extremely serious, like this child could have been
Well,
kidnapped, or
neither
this
did
child
Hunter
could be
and Allie.
seriously hurt,
Hunter
or
and Allie
anything.
didn't either. When she called
Right.
Hunter, he didn't believe her. He told her to call Allie, and Allie didn't
Right.
believe her at first either. No one believed her. But they're the ones who had said that, she would get intoxicated and forget where the kids were and
That
things
is
like that.
that's sad.
So whether
That's
that's
really sad.
the thing about that is when Hunter and Allie said that, you had to believe it because
Yeah. Why would?
Robin had kind of shrugged it off too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you just have to look at it like that. But that's what I was saying. I kind of get frustrated when I just see the wrong information being put out there, and you know um, if I don't have the correct information that
And I'm
came.
always open up. I'm always open, for corrections
Well,
as
me
far as
too.
myself reporting on it.
Yeah,
If
me
I say
too.
something that's not true, somebody just say, "Oh no, that's not who said that. It was so and so who did that, or whatever."
Well, I
Oh,
think
okay.
I just think the point I'm trying to make, that one wrong, two wrong words in a sentence can
Could
change.
change the whole dynamics of a story.
That's right. That's right. Now, Robin herself, from the get go, her husband and I'd have to look. I don't know, and I'm going to say alleged, but was caught stealing, I believe, drugs from the what do they call it, the drug room at the police station or somewhere like that.
Who was?
Her, I believe it was her husband.
Oh,
I don't know if it was her ex-husband or the husband she has now. I'd have to go back and look through my notes, but you know, that happened and she was abused also. I just think that Robin herself liked attention. And I know she loved the attention she got from Summer, but I think she also liked the attention that she was receiving from Tim Mullins and David Dodson.
probably.
Just from looking into her and a lot of things, you know, that's transpired throughout this case.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the thing that got me the most was when Ansley Daniels did a report, and she put pictures up on the wall of people who were vested in Summer's case.
Yeah.
And she had Robin Lane up there, she had David Dodson up there, and she had Tim Mullins up there.
Yeah.
Why are they vested in Summer's case? I can understand Robin to a point, but supposedly David Dodson didn't know that family that well. So why would his picture be up there? He didn't want involved in the case. He has never. He's talked to a couple people, and I wish there were a couple of girls had a channel called Unmask, and they did a question thing with Candace, and then they also talked to David, and it's not there anymore. I can't find it. I think the girls separated, and when they did, I don't know if they just erased everything off of it or what. But that's one of the I don't even know if anybody ever clipped it. Back that far ago, I don't know how many clip channels True Crime actually had then. I don't think there was that many back that long ago. But we need to really look at Summer's case and like I said, I'm not going to say innocent or guilty. I don't know those people. All I know is what they have showed all of us.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, I feel like it's, it's Don and Candace keep saying they're innocent, they're innocent, they're innocent. Okay, well, if you're innocent, then let's shit and get off the pot and get down to business and figure out who would have took Summer. Who would have wanted to do this?
This is what I've always wondered.
Let's get some truth about where you were, what was going on, and what time you did this and that and the other, and quit,
look, even
lollygagging around about it.
Even if Candace wasn't guilty of whatever happened to Summer, she was guilty of something else that she didn't want them to know. And in my heart, I think it had to do with she didn't want to look like a bad mother.
I think she left and went somewhere.
Oh yeah,
and left the kids home by themselves.
That's a definite.
That's what I think.
I
think this whole, I was fixing Mama's brace for 15, 20 minutes, and no, I think it's something way worse.
Hi, Victoria.
I
Victoria said, I'm new to this and it's already driving me crazy. One day I think they're innocent and I wonder the next. Girl, you're right up there with everybody else.
Yep.
I mean, there's times, in the beginning when I first started following this case that it would literally bring me to tears.
I know.
Tears. And, sometimes hearing Don Wells say some of the stuff he was saying, this is my recommendation for anybody who's new to it. If you start feeling a little bit overwhelmed, take a couple days off of YouTube. I mean, walk
Yes,
away.
definitely.
Everything's going to be there when you come back. Um, you know, there's things that I'm seeing with some of these creators now that I find pretty interesting. Killer Looks has some really good, stuff that he's putting out,
Mm,
and has dug a little bit into, some of the different characters on Beach Creek and stuff like that.
yeah.
I watched something that Little Wing did. That's a good channel too. That's why I always tell people, you know, if you're watching a creator and like when I show a video, I always want you to know who it is, because if you want to go back and watch it, then you can go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Victoria said there's a new channel called 14 Watchers. It seems like they are calling people out on misinformation. Well, let me tell you, Victoria, they will have a channel that will go on for a long time, because
Hmm.
there is too much misinformation about Summer's case. And I just never understood why adults, they're lying to protect themselves against their own indiscretions and nefarious stuff that they've done,
Yeah.
without a second thought that you know maybe they know something that might help find her, and but they're too worried about themselves, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the Dudley Ajon, I believed what he said. I
I
honestly
did too.
believed
I
what he
didn't have any
said.
reason not to.
The reason I believed what he said is because he did two different interviews, and he didn't sway. He didn't sway from either one.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I would love to know, because see, I also heard that Don was saying that, um, the day before Summer got gone, that the CPS was coming to close the case or something,
Uh,
and that he got home at a certain time, and that they should have that information. And I'm like, don't play that bullshit, because number one, CPS, if they have any information of a time or something that you've come home, they're not going to tell anybody anyway.
right.
And another thing, let me tell you about Josh at the lab. He kind of
Hmm.
irked me too, because I don't watch
I
him
don't
much.
watch his channel either.
I don't watch him much, but I happened to just turn him on for a minute, and he was talking about Dawn like he always does, and playing a phone call or something, and he said, and we talked about a lot more things, but I'm not gonna say. And I'm like,
Uh,
why the hell would you do that? Okay, that is keeping people coming to your channel, number one, because
yeah.
now they're wondering what you know that you're not saying,
Right.
you know. And I'm like, but
Clickbait.
yeah, I'm like, people who's been following this case since the beginning, like me, I'm like, forget you, Josh, forget it. Obviously, you don't know anything that's relevant to Summer's case, or he would have said, I know of other things that me and Don has talked about that I'm not going to discuss here, but have been turned over to the TBI. That
Right.
would have impressed me, you
Right.
know. Let's
Because that's
see.
what I would do if it were me.
Victoria said, I think Robin's husband is probably a bit controlling, and plus she had her daughter and had to make sure she was performing her church going motherly. Her husband, Robin's husband did not want, when, okay, let's put it like this. When Robin's husband found out that she was taking her daughter out to Ben Hill, he was furious. He was not happy. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You know, she was going out there and, from my understanding, not letting him know that she was out there and different things like that. I think what kind of made me look at Robin a little differently was how Don talked of her, which I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with how he described Robin to everybody. He did it in front of his wife. And if you look at Candace and you look at Robin, I mean, that's like...
It's not any different.
That's like slapping Candace in the face in front of WJHL. She was getting interviewed, you know. So that kind of threw me for a loop there. But number one, when she said that if she did an interview with a YouTuber, that she would want her pastor to be there so he could explain why they believe what they believe. Okay. And I'm like, you're a member of that church. And you don't know your...
She's trying to say the wrong thing.
I don't know. And then when she made that appointment with Reverend Donna Serafino, and instead of just not keeping it or canceling it, her and that woman got in that car and just bashed her really bad. And I thought, I don't care what religion you are, you know.
I'm gonna take any kind of help from any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street corner I can get help from.
Well, it's not only that, but you know, if you're a good person, you wouldn't do that to somebody else.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't bash her. And I think the church had a lot of control over Robin.
Yeah.
Because when she showed up in the car with that other lady from the church, the other lady was pretty much reading the scriptures on, you know, Reverend Donna being the devil because she's a medium, you know. And
yeah, but we're talking about a missing child here.
Also,
you know, my gosh, if the devil himself can tell me where Summer is, I'm gonna listen.
I think because from what I remember, Don even spoke to Reverend Donna a couple times. And then he quit.
Yeah.
And then he quit. So,
well, until you have seen it work with your own eyes, you know, you don't believe in that kind of stuff. But, you know, I told you about the lady here in Arkansas that she's going to be the first phone call I make. And then I'm calling the police department.
Well, this is what got me too, because if you go back and listen to some of Don's interviews, he talks about a woman contacting him and saying that she had a dream about Summer. And
well, I had a dream about Summer too, and I'm not psychic. I don't claim to be psychic anyway, but I do believe there was a reason for the dream.
Well, yeah, I believe that.
There's something behind it, because it's not the first strange,
I've had a couple dreams,
paranormal experience I've had.
But I have to kind of sometimes wonder if it's not just my subconscious mind, because I've thought about her so much, like right before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of distinguish between is it because of that or is it something else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just wish people would just knock their shit off and quit being dummies, you know?
Yeah.
And
you know, and you would think the police department, you know, at this point, they have no leads, they have no suspects, they have nothing. You know, what have they got to lose by contacting, you know, someone like
the
Carol here in Arkansas.
the thing
What have
about
they
it
got to
is
lose?
the thing about it is though is that I'm going to show you an interview that has a medium. It also has the.
Because I've got 2 police officer friends that I know very well that she's worked with, and they'll tell you she's for real.
I don't think I have. I'm going to check my watch list and see, because if I've got it in my watch list, then I'll show it real quick. Oh wait, that's not it. Hold on, girl. Let me see if I've got this. Yeah, I got it. All right. Let me pull this up. Okay, wait. Hang on. I gotta share my screen. Oh goodness. Hang on, Ruby. Oh, it's not letting me leave. Hang on. Hang on. Sorry, Ruby.
Oh, go. You're fine.
Okay, I've got it. Hang on a minute. I don't know if you can hear it, but let me share my screen. There we go.
So that's called psychic. You're psychic, and you get it from me, and you get it from my mom. My mom was psychic, and so that happened quite regularly. It hasn't yet happened, so I call myself a bit of a time traveler, and that's the only thing I can ever be. And I didn't even know who she was. So when I knew that you might be asking me about her, I decided to see what I could sense about who she was. And I call it not feeding the psychic. So I don't like to be fed information. So I purposely first decided to sense what I felt about her and then research her missing case after. So I did that within the first few minutes of each other. The first thing I did was I sensed that she was blonde, and I sensed that she there was a disagreement. There was some kind of, not like a fight, but there was an argument and a disagreement prior. And she wandered, and then someone took her.
Now she works with the police
I was
department.
shown a vision that she was taken from her home. I was shown that he left behind 3 things. He left behind a cigarette that had the brown paper on the filter. So it has, what do they call it? Tipping paper, it's called. He left a fingerprint, but it's smudged, and I know where the fingerprint is. And it's too smudged for forensics to be able to identify it. And he left a 3rd item, and the 3rd item I wasn't shown. I wasn't able to get a good enough look at what the 3rd item was. Next, I was shown that he takes her to his home and that her body is under the house. What was the other information? Oh, toys. Toys were shown to me, and I thought it weird because I didn't know who she was. I didn't know her age, and I thought toys is odd because I was sort of assuming at that point that she was an older woman, like maybe, teens or 20s that was taken, because this man is in her home and near her bedroom, and I see the side table by her bed where he left the cigarette, and where I know where the fingerprint is as well. And I remember thinking, what's toys got to do with it? Does he work in a toy store? And then I thought maybe it was, an adult type of toy. And I was told by spirit, no, toys. And I thought, okay, this is odd. So then I researched her and found out she was a child. And then the toys made sense at that point.
Laura, do you get that she's alive? Because you didn't say whether you said you feel that she's not alive. Okay. And
the trail has to be searched.
what type of a toy is it that you're seeing or that you're being told? Is there specific on the toy?
He uses the toys for her. He uses it as to entertain her so that she's happy. He uses the toys because she's a child. That's why I didn't understand in the beginning the toys, because I thought, why is he using toys with a woman? So with the fact that I found out later that she was a girl, it made more sense at that point. But the thing
and
is,
you feel that the subject that took her is a male. You referred to him as he. And
yes, but she knows.
He took
knows who it is.
She knows who the person is.
The mother.
The mother knows. Now, the toy, did he take the toy from the home when he abducted her?
I wasn't shown that. I was shown that she got injured when he grabbed her. She was very severely injured by him in her home. So when he took her, she was still conscious, but not in a good way. She was very injured, and he wanted to do more to her after he took her. So I saw him throw her over his shoulder. Let's see, where was he? It would have been his right shoulder. He would have went like this.
Was there, do you know if it was day or night when this occurred?
In the home, the room had a lamp by the bed, so it looked like evening, but I wasn't shown the outside, and I never like to guess. I try not to assume and guess things. I go by what I'm shown and what I can sense and what I see in visions. And I wasn't shown the outside, so I can't verify that at all.
Was there anybody else present, or did this guy act alone?
He looked alone, but when I saw when I researched her, the next thing I did is I researched the parents. I always try to rule out the parents, and I researched the parents, and I saw that
by herself or off this yard by her swing.
That's Laura, that's the mother of Summer.
I can say a lot about her. I know a lot about her.
Well, tell us about her.
Let it rip.
When she was being interviewed at her residence, and she was walking away from her home, she was describing how her daughter went inside. I noticed she had no trouble talking about it. It was very casual. Like when your child's taken, I mean, I'm not trying to judge her. I'm going by just, what I'm sensing. So it's not a judgment thing. But I was really surprised with the way she was not devastated talking about it at that moment. She was very casual. I went and did this, then I went and did that. I went to talked to my mom. My mom's in the trailer over here, and she went inside and played. And then later, when she was being interviewed by the FBI interrogators, I don't remember their title, but they interview people to see if they're lying. And I noticed when they asked her, "Do you know who took her?" She paused. Then she said no. Then she repeated the no. But I never forgot that pause. Then she complained, "I don't know anymore." She complained that there was no other information. Am I still on the show?
You're on. Bill gave you the whole screen. You're still on.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
He gave you the whole screen.
Because when she was being interviewed, this is very important. I need to say this. When she was being interviewed, and after that pause, and then she said she didn't know anymore, I knew she knew more. That's why she was saying that. She does know more. Then she didn't want to be in the interview anymore. She got very frazzled and upset. She wanted to leave the interview. So she's trying, that's called avoidance, because she's scared she's going to say something. Her husband beside her calms her down. He's overly calm, as he's always been.
Laura, could I just ask you a quick question? Is this an observation that you made from doing research, or is this a vision? Because
Oh, sorry. No, this is when I watched the video
okay,
of them. I believe it was Dr. Phil.
I was just going to say what you describe. I was about to say what
Yes.
you're describing is exactly what was on Dr. Phil. Yes, exactly.
Yes, and I read photographs. I'm really good at reading people, and I'm really good at reading photographs. And so I was going by the vision, I'm sorry, what I'm seeing in the video.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
going by what I'm picking up from that.
By the way, that was giant red flags for me and Bill as well when we watched that interview. So,
And I was trying not to judge them, like the parents, if they're innocent, because I'm seeing that other man, if they're innocent, I'm trying not to judge them, but I'm going by what I'm seeing, and it's not looking good. And I can see why there's speculation about them. And I really want that trail searched. The trail that the father, this is another red flag. He says he didn't know that trail existed. I grew up on rural property. We had 5 acres at the beginning, but it looked like 10. And then we had 80 acres. I knew every trail. I find it really odd that he didn't know that trail so close to the house existed. And I think they should interview the neighbor again, interview the grandmother, her mother, the mother's mother.
Yes.
And I think the mom will crack.
Yeah, Bill and I have been
I think
on
she's
that.
protecting somebody. I think the mother is protecting somebody, whether it's herself or the man. She's protecting someone she knows. And I think she'll crack.
Bill and I have been of that same feeling and same opinion right from the beginning, that there's more to be told on the mother. We felt that probably both of them have some explaining to do with regard to the missing child.
She's
But
caught.
I just wanted to get back to what you saw with regard to this person throwing her over the shoulder. Now,
Sure.
was there anything more, like, was that the extent of it? It sounds like it was just a brief vision, or whatever you call it. I don't know if you call it a vision, but it sounds like it was brief. Or was there, when she was injured, can you describe the injury? What was going on in the background? Was there noise?
She was at the far end of the room. At the far right corner is where he left the items. And the disturbance with her happened at that end of the room. It looks like a bedroom is what I saw. And when she was injured, it was in several areas. I would say it was more her abdomen, more her stomach, more her torso area is where I saw the injuries. But she was unconscious, so there could have been a head injury as well.
So Laura, what you're saying is what many people have said. From the very beginning of this, I didn't like Don or Candace. I felt that they both knew much more than they were saying about this. I feel that Candace, like you do, Candace knows exactly what happened to little
I
Summer.
believe so.
And what people are thinking now, because it's been 6 months, she went missing June 15th.
Oh, I didn't even look at the date.
Yeah, it's been
That's
6
a long
months.
time.
Yeah, so I mean, most people don't believe that she will be found alive. However,
I saw her he keeps her under the house buried so that she can be close to him. So I know she's not. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be so surprised, because police say I have a really good track record. I'm rarely ever wrong. My boyfriend's always hated it. No one plays sports with me. No one bets with me anymore. I always win. Like, I'm rarely wrong, and I'm not speaking from ego. So I'm saying I'm going to be so surprised if she's alive.
Laura, I just got to make a couple of points because there's information that we know about the home location. Now, and Bill and I have really digested this whole scenario pretty good. We actually had somebody on that was present at the home location doing the search, and they gave us a real insight to, they described it really well. And then we saw videos of it. But when you're describing an abduction, we're a little skeptical about that. And I'm a skeptic with regard to psychics and mediums to begin with. And I'm going to be very upfront with you. Now, I'm not saying you per se. I'm just saying in general. Of course, there are a lot of people that claim to be psychics and were found to be phonies or whatever. Now, I'm not attacking your credibility or anything. I see that you have a lot of wonderful things, life coach, and all these other things that you do. And anybody that would describe that as evil or a devil, I think is pretty foolish, because those are some very nice things that you do. And I don't question your ability. I believe in the fact that people do have these abilities. But there was like 13 dogs on the property, and it
I
was,
know.
we're skeptical about what the family is telling us. Now, the family is telling us
Exactly.
that she was abducted just before 6:30 on I think it was the 27th of June, Bill? I'm not sure of the exact date, but
No, it was the 15th.
the 15th.
of
Okay.
June.
But it was 6:30 p.m. where it was still light out. And with the 13 dogs, even if it was someone that was friendly to the family or knew them, the dogs probably would have been barking. So I'm just trying to grasp what your vision's telling us. That's why I asked you if it was day or night, because maybe they're not being truthful about when she was last seen, or she might have been left alone or something like that. So that's why I was asking if there was any anything happened in the background or anything like that.
I can say one thing about that. I was not shown his face, and that's not normal. I always get a description of a person who's committing a crime. I'm always shown their face. I can describe I've had some where I sketch, like a sketch artist, I'll sketch out the person's face. I'm actually very surprised I'm not shown his face, and I believe there's a reason why.
Did you see what he was wearing, like his
I
clothing?
just saw that he was tall, and he threw her over his shoulder to take her outside. That's it. And then I noticed that's all I was shown. I wasn't shown him going outside to a vehicle and being shown his getaway car, the license plate, a company logo on the side. I'm shown such detail. I find it very odd that that was all I was shown. As soon as he gets to the door, the vision ends.
But was there? Did you see what kind of a shirt he was wearing, or a
No.
jacket? No.
No, the focus was more on what was happening and the evidence he left behind.
Okay.
Jean Darkus from the chat, she's saying, I've never believed anything happened on that property, or that child was taken from that property. I have always believed that baby never made it home that day, and the mother knows. We had thought that, but then we had, I believe, some confirmation from the investigators that she in fact did make it home that day. And I was, Jean Darkus, I was believing the same thing as you were, till I was corrected by the actual investigators
We both
on the
were,
case.
Bill. We both thought
that she in fact did make it home. So, Laura, one of the things is, I don't know if you're aware of this group, Equus Search. They're a bunch of civilians that go all over the country searching for missing children, and they're unbelievable people. And they were brought in twice to search for Summer Wells. And most recently, about a month or two ago, they searched the whole area that you're referring to, that path, with drones and people and dogs and all of that stuff. And at some point, the scent of the dogs went to where the car couldn't go any further. And that's where the trail ended. That's where the dog's scent ended.
They described it as like the end of the driveway, Bill, is what
right.
Dave Rader had said when he was on the show.
But Dave Rader, who was from Midwest Equus Search, he felt that there was with the time frame that there was no way she was kidnapped. That it was too small a window of time for that to have happened. So, yeah, I mean, this is not an easy case, obviously, but the longer this goes on, the more I think, and I didn't think she could have been taken either, but the more I'm thinking that possibility, in fact, exists.
If I may,
Go
I
ahead.
would like to say that what I'm trying to hint at is my vision did not show her being removed from the property.
Okay.
It might not be an abductor. And I don't want to assume, like I say, when I'm working on, I've worked on hundreds and hundreds of cases with police, and I never, as a rule, I never ever try to guess. I never try to assume. I don't want to assume that that's an abductor, that it's a stranger. I don't want to assume it's her father. But I was not shown his face, and I was not shown her removed from the property.
But what you're saying is that you think it was her bedroom that she was removed from, or no?
Oh, I know it was. I know it was.
Okay,
her
so
home.
so it was her bedroom, and it was at the home. But you're saying maybe she wasn't removed from the property. Is that what I'm getting?
Do you know if the father smokes? I want to rule him out.
I'm not 100% sure, but if I had a guess, I would say he probably is. But I obviously
that
it's
brown.
I've
brown
never
skin.
seen. Yeah, I've never seen him smoking in any video or anything like that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because that what I experienced over. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 37 years now. The first case I worked with police was I was 18 at the time. And I've learned that every single thing I'm shown means something in the end. So when I wake up, say from a dream, I have to make sure I write down every single detail, everything, and not assume that it means nothing. The cat was orange, and I might not write it down. I might not post about that. I've learned I have to post that. Everything eventually comes true, and everything meant something. So I think that cigarette means something. I think the third thing he left means something. I believe the toys is significant, the smudged fingerprint, and her being under the house, and that trail is interesting. So if it was me searching the property, I find dead bodies all the time. I'd be searching that trail to rule out whether she was buried at that trail or whether she's under their house.
Do you know what the third item is that was left behind, or you don't know?
I wasn't shown it. I just know there's a third item. I was so focused on that cigarette. It was, is it called beveled? When, like those glass ashtrays that are sort of sharp edged. They're all sort of like crystal.
Yeah.
The cigarette was there in that kind of an ashtray. It was clear glass, and it was that kind of a cut, sort of like that crystal kind of a ashtray. And it was on either one drawer or two drawer side, those little side tables beside the bed, little bedside table where you put your lamp on it. That's where the cigarette ashtray was, and there was a lamp lit. And that's why I say, it's like what the room I'm in right now. It was like dim.
Karen Greer Eccles from the chat says that both Candace and Don both smoke. So I've never, I don't think I've seen them smoking on video, but
I think there was a
that's another sign. They were stressed they'd be smoking. The fact that they're not smoking, even on camera.
I think they made mention of cigarettes or something. I'm remembering that through all of the research that we did.
Actually, Don went out late one night to get her cigarettes, and I think that's when he got grabbed for DWI.
That's it.
Let's find out what brand they were.
Yeah.
Well, going back a little bit to what Bill was saying, we pretty much didn't think, we kind of ruled out an abduction. We didn't think she came back. I'm talking about early on. We didn't think she came back to the home. Then when we got the information that, there was almost 100% confirmation that she did return to the home that day, the window closed. The window of opportunity that she was either abducted or something happened to her or she wandered off. It became a very narrow window. Now, Candace, from her testimony, or I shouldn't say testimony, from her statements, she says she only had eyes off Candace for a couple of minutes, eyes off Summer for a couple of minutes. So that is really narrowing it. And I just feel like if that is all true, if what we believe to be true is what they're telling us, that it was only a couple of minutes, the mother's trailer, which was only like 20 yards away from their home or less, that she walked her to the home, that Summer went into the house. She walked back to her mother's trailer. Then she went back to the home and asked her sons, where's Summer? And they said she's in the basement. She yelled, hollered down in the basement, no response. And then that's when they discovered her missing and she called her husband. So I just feel like if that is all true, it's a very, very short window for an abduction. So now what you're saying, if it is someone known to them, even possibly the husband, Don, then that possibly could make sense.
I have a question.
Please.
I did not see her say that. Did you have footage of her saying, I only had my eyes off her for a minute?
I think she says a couple of minutes. You
Because
have to.
that contradicts what she just said about how she went missing on her own from the house. What does she mean? She just kept her eyes off her for a couple of minutes.
The statements that she made were that she came home they had been out the whole day. They had gone to the watering hole. They had gone to the emergency room with the mother, Candace's mother, that they stopped at a drugstore to pick up a prescription. They stopped at another store to buy these alcoholic beverages. They went to the watering hole. Then they came home and then they were playing in the yard and they were planting flowers by the mother's trailer.
So they went out and bought alcohol the day that their daughter, this all happened?
They went to Twisted Tea, I believe it was. So, and then they were in the company of another child, a 15-year-old, and the statements about the Twisted Tea came from him. She denies it, but if you look at the whole story, that's the general scenario of what she says took place, that they came back to the house and that she was planting flowers with her daughter and her mom, and that she walked her back to the home. And, which it's a short distance. They're comfortable on the property. Why did she walk her back? That's a little strange to me. That's suspicious. And then she goes into the house and she immediately, within a minute or two, goes back to the house and says, ask the brothers, where's Summer? And they said she went downstairs to play. So she goes and checks on her. It all sounds just a little bit odd. I don't believe that those things occurred. That she was checking on her right away and all of that,
Laura and Phil, let me play a little bit of this and just to get an idea.
This might be a little bit better for you, Laura, to understand.
By her swing, I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
The parents of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells saying they never thought she was in the woods near their home, but that they believe she was abducted. Search crews combing through nearly 5 square miles around the Wells home.
We have to do one step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them.
Summer not the first girl to go missing in her family.
When my sister went missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too.
When you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Fear beginning to spread through the Wells home as Summer remains missing.
And then it really bothers me to find out that we've had sex offenders living within 8 minutes of my house.
Keep a close watch on your kids.
Yes.
Hey, Bill, if you go back to the beginning of the video, I think you'll catch when she says
in America
about
if it
just a couple of minutes.
finding her.
A little before we started.
Anywhere.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing, I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
The parent
That's a little bit different video than the original one, but you
She's
could
giving too
see.
many theories, and we all know that they do that with police. You're not supposed to be telling the police what you think happened.
No, look, we found their interviews ridiculous in the
Yeah.
beginning of this. I still find
And
them
she shifted
ridiculous.
her eyes to the left when she said, I don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened. She went like this. We all know what that means, too.
And they were very, in their opinions about what they thought happened, they were very convinced about it,
Yeah.
which to me, nobody knew. We still don't know till this very minute, so how do you know, And
Exactly.
listen, I think that their interviews in the early stages of this investigation were critical to finding out what happened. And the minute there was an inconsistency, they really needed to dig down on that. And that's what I would have did if I was the case detective.
If I was a
Laura-
parent, I'd be going everywhere looking for her. I would be angry. I'd be yelling at the police, help find her. I'd be
course.
hiring private investigators. I'd
Of
be going
course.
out of my way. They seem way too calm.
You're 100% correct. Laura, Joe Murray, thank you, Joe, for the $9.99 super chat. Joe Murray is a defense attorney.
All right, guys. Well, I mean,
That was interesting.
Victoria, I know one of the men are from the behavioral panel. If you go to the behavioral panel, you can watch the interview they did with Dawn. When they interviewed Candace was actually, I believe, in California on the Dr. Phil show. And they showed that part of the interview with Dr. Phil. Now, this is what I found interesting, because if you ever listen to Reverend Donna Serafina, she also says that she was not shown the face. For some reason, these mediums are not being shown the face, which is kind of weird. Also, the cigarette butt, I mean, their readings are a little different because Reverend Donna feels that Candace sold her, is kind of what I took from Reverend Donna's. But I've watched so many different mediums and different stuff all over this whole time, doing little things about Summer. And I don't know, she seems to be pretty intelligent on what she's saying. And this is what got me too, because Don Wells made a statement about toys, and he would take Summer by herself and buy her toys. But then he said she left him in the truck. That never set right with me, because I'm like, you're taking your little girl and you're buying her toys, but then you're coming back home and she's leaving them in the truck. I've never known any of my granddaughters to get a new toy and leave them in a vehicle.
No.
They want them toys. They want to take them inside. They want to show everybody, So that never set right with me. And I do believe that Dawn does smoke. Him and Candace both smoke, I believe.
Yeah, they do. They both smoke.
But, I mean, it makes sense. I remember when Chris McDonough went up there and Candace gave him the tour, right? And he mentioned that crawl space under the house. And she said that they basically put that there because the dogs would go under there and have their pups, is what she said. But everybody, Ruby, everybody, every law enforcement official, psychic, paranormal investigators doing EVPs, it all comes back that Candace knows something.
Yep.
Every one of them. Every one of them. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
And it's just a matter of breaking her.
Yeah, but
whatever she's holding back, whatever she's not telling, you know.
What I thought was interesting too, because her, what she call herself, Candace's best friend, whatever her YouTube channel is. When she made the comment that Candace went to rehab and didn't want to stay because they were doping her up, and she didn't like to be doped up because she didn't know what she was saying. She didn't like that. So, you know, I don't know why, if you are going into a rehab to get off drugs and alcohol, why they would dope you up on so much stuff that you wouldn't have your faculties to you.
Not unless they're trying to give her some kind of like depression medication or something, or antipsychotic for, you know.
The way that Kathy made it sound was they were doping her up pretty good to where she didn't even know what she was doing or saying or anything.
That, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
The thing about it is, we're talking about a person who was an alcoholic and drug addict. What the hell were they giving her that would throw her off that much? I think she was.
There ain't no telling.
Hey, you know what? Maybe they did dope her up just to see if they could get her to say something. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I thought that that Oracle Laura, out of all of them, made a lot of sense to me. Her track record is she has very high marks. You know.
Well, I mean, if I had the ability to give Carol what she needs in order to do a reading, the way she does her readings, I would do it in a heartbeat, but I don't have access to anything of Summer's.
Right.
Person, I don't, that she needs a shoe or a toy or something that belonged to her.
Well, I thought the cigarette butt was,
and she works very well off of shoes.
I thought the cigarette butt was very interesting. I thought the toy was very interesting because if you remember right, Candace got rid of her toys.
Yep.
Candace got rid of her toys. Why would she? I mean, to me, she did it too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I can see.
And I watched a video. It's been a long time ago, and I don't even remember whose it was, but I want to say it was that Chris McDonough video where they note that you don't see any of Summer's stuff around.
Well, there was the TV, and then there was videos, and then she was showing these little toys that Summer liked. And then I think in the very corner, up in the right-hand corner, that there was actually like a bucket of toys there or something. So she did have a few toys down there, but Candace also made the comment that Summer was playing with her toys up in the kitchen floor, or in that, as they walked in the front door, she had toys that she was playing with there while they were putting groceries away and doing all that crap. so everybody thought that, I thought that was kind of, I shouldn't say everybody, but, you know, I thought that was kind of strange. Why would Summer feel the need to go downstairs to play with her toys if she had toys upstairs? You know, that's why in my mind I kept thinking,
I thought she wanted to go in and play with the boys.
she wanted to go in and
You
see
know,
her
so why
brother.
did she go in? And I mean,
And then they put out this guilt trip on the boys that Summer wanted one of them or to go downstairs and play with her, and they said no. And she ended up going down there by herself. So see, this is also the thing. Candace said the boys were locked in, no in, no out. So if
I don't
somebody
believe
did
that.
come in that bedroom, that back door had to have been unlocked, or the
I don't
boys had
believe that.
let somebody in the front door. See?
Why would you need to lock your kids in the house
Well, they
out
were all young. I mean,
out there, you know, way out in the middle of nowhere?
well, I think one of the problems too that I think CPS wasn't happy about was that the boys were actually left home for not just a couple hours, but hours.
Yeah.
You know, but if you look at Josie was 12 at the time, I think. So I don't know what the state of Tennessee, how old you have to be allowed to stay at home with your siblings. I know it's different in every state, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, any sort of an accident can happen, you know, at the ages those kids are.
Well, see, that's the problem because I mean, Candace and Dawn, they
leave them unsupervised.
When they say things, and then you might hear them a few nights later somewhere else, and it's contradictory statements.
They can't keep their story straight.
No, they're constantly contradicting each other a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot contradict each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always felt too that, you know, we're not talking about just psychics saying that Candace knows. We're talking about
trained
professional
professionals.
law enforcement people.
Right.
You know, the behavioral panel are very good at what they do. I know the other guy was I think a New York, retired New York PD detective or something. So it's not like these people, it's not like this is the first case they've ever had to deal with.
Well, my biggest complaint is that I feel like they have just not been interrogated hard enough. I feel like, you know, the police suspect stuff, everybody suspects stuff, and they can sit and talk about it all day long, but, you know, you got to make it happen.
Well, you have to look at this too. If they took the lie detector test, which the lie detector test don't mean anything.
Right.
And they had done any sort of substances to, you know, kind of set that off in any way. And then they're
you
drunk,
can take all sorts of stuff.
and they're drunk all the time, and Dawn's supposedly cracked up, and they're doing all this dope and everything else. Why bring him in to question him again? Because what are they going to find out?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And maybe, you know, nobody's really thought about that. Maybe that's why they do stay doped up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take Don long to get out of jail before he started in.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really, truly wanted to believe that Candace was going along the right track. But, you know, when Dawn made the comment that she couldn't talk to the boys anymore because they thought she was drunk, he said it was because of a stroke. But yet you hear her talking on these channels and she sounds fine to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like she has any trouble getting her words out.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that also. But, you know, like I said,
Well, until this is resolved, but I understand that they have not been charged with a crime by law, so therefore they're not guilty of a crime. But to give those kids back under these circumstances of that we don't know whether or not, you know, they did anything, it's just not a good idea. I mean, look at all these cases of all these kids we're covering where, you know, they're given back to their parents, and, you know, bad shit happens.
Yeah, Victoria, the boys probably have a lot of info, and we're never going to know what the boys have said. We will
Right.
never, you know, I probably won't know. Well, hope I'm alive when Josie turns 18, but we'll probably never know what them boys have said and said that's happened out there. And, you know, that's the bad thing about hearsay also, because, you know, it's Candace had all these strangers up on the hill. The only one that we know of for a fact, that's proven fact, is Jose.
Right.
I mean, Allie's the one who said about the guy from the dollar store that Candace took home. What is that? That's hearsay. We have no proof.
Right.
We do know that she was contacting guys on Messenger or whatever it was, you know, kind of feeling sorry for herself. And you know, the sad thing about that is, you know, she was wanting to meet up with that guy in Gatlinburg and all these other places. And, you know, he let on that he didn't know about Summer, and he knew about Summer. So, you know,
she'd have run off with Benny or Ernie if they'd have give her a hot minute.
Well, I'll tell you, it kind of threw me kind of sideways when her bestie friend Kathy started a YouTube channel. Why? I have not. Well, I think I watched it one time, but I ain't heard the girl say anything relevant, except for she was telling about Candace going to rehab. But you know what? You can know what happened to your daughter and still shut a part of that off and still love your daughter.
Right.
You know, there are many people that things go sideways that say, but I love them, you know. I love them. But yeah, I'll have to pull Reverend Donna's up and play it too, because it's real interesting. She goes into big time detail about the guy that had given Candace money in Gatlinburg, I believe, and that Candace had it hid somewhere in the house. And you know, it's just weird to me that the two that I find so credible is Laura and Reverend Donna, and neither one of them were allowed to see this man's face.
Yeah. And I would really love to be able to get with Carol and see what she would say, and see if she would say the same thing, because then I would know that yes, there's something definitely up. You know, I don't know Reverend Donna or Laura, but I do know Carol, and I do know her work firsthand.
Right.
So her work would it be who I trust?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, any type of situation like that, you ever go to a psychic or something like that.
Here comes baby Summer in the window. She heard us talking about her.
I know my pet, she's been crying and whining, and she wouldn't go near Todd because she watched, you know, Todd was the one who had to take Shaylee out to the car, and so the last couple days, you know, every time she hears him come in, she thinks that, you know, Rainey's Shaylee's coming back in the door, so she's just heartbroken.
Mm.
She is heartbroken. But I just wish people, just wouldn't put out all this dumb information.
Yeah.
And, 1 minute people are fighting and they're not talking to each other. And then the next minute one of them will say, oh, I talked to that other person and I don't think they had anything to do with it. But now I can't say if they got anything to do with the cover up or not. And it's like, whatever. Candalee says, tell me why Jody Sue said, I hope people don't corrupt the jury pool on her son. Has anyone else heard that? Yes, Candalee. And I'm going to tell you why. And I think I've tried to explain this before. So many people were talking about Bug being guilty of coming up on the hill and sneaking up there and all this other stuff. And, they were going after him just like they were all the neighbors and everything else. And what she's saying that in that area, that so much of this information is going through Hawkins County and Kingsport and Sullivan County. And, that if he was to get in trouble for something, that, the jury pool would already have in their mind what these YouTubers are saying. Yeah, does that make sense? Did that make sense to you, Ruby? Oh, Ruby's got herself muted. She must be playing.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that's what Jody Sue meant. I don't, she wasn't saying that her son's guilty of anything. They said that he snuck up the mountain a couple times and that he was, seen up there and that she was at the bottom and honked the horn and he ran down there and she said he was checking the mail. But if you have followed Jody Sue this whole time, which I know a lot of people can't and it's hard to do, she's a nosy neighbor. And I'm sure no matter who was up there on that hill, she wanted to know what was going on. And with them being up there, and I'm not talking about just Candace or Dawn or whatever, with all them other people being up there, I'm sure she sent him up there to see what he could find out.
Yeah.
That's just nosy neighborness there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The only question I had that I would like to ask Laura is because she said that the man damaged her torso, right?
Yeah, I'm interested in this injury.
What did he do to her that caused that?
Right.
I heard another psychic, what's her name? Candace Starr or something like that, and she was trying to say that Summer was sick in the vehicle, and
yeah,
she made her Candace tried to make her walk in the house and told the boys to take her downstairs, and the boys dropped her down the stairs. Is what she tried to say, but I don't know. I didn't see that because the pure fact that they have the boys. Okay, the state of Tennessee has the boys, and I believe after this whole time that the boys would have.
I believe that there was some sort of an accident with the boys, and one of them, like pushed her down or did something that we would have already cleared all that up by now, and that would have been settled in family court and be the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see if something like that happened, Dawn and Candace covering for the boys, right?
Right.
But I think that the boys, being as young as they were after all this time, would have already opened up and said, this is what happened to her.
Yeah.
But they, also, they don't know where she went.
Yeah.
Which was, and that's why it's hard to believe what Jody Sue says too. I mean, first she says the dog stopped at her feet. She said she got in the creek to wash off the scent because she had studied up on what to do in the case of a missing child. Well, you don't do that.
Well, that sounds fishy.
Where the hell she get her info?
Why would she have had summer scent on her?
I mean, where would she have got her info?
Exactly.
Google. I shouldn't say that because Google does tell you a lot of.
I don't know, but it's just kind of absurd. Why? It's just a little absurd why she would need to wash off, and she wouldn't have or shouldn't have summer scent on her.
Well, that didn't make any sense to me, and what also didn't make any sense is because throughout that whole time that she says she's looking, where's her kids? Her son.
I don't know, because
her son was old enough that he could have came to help
and
her.
helped. Yeah, I don't know. I've never.
And let me tell you, if I knew a little girl went missing, if I knew a little girl went missing, my kids wouldn't be sitting in a cabin by themselves.
No, I'd have every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the neighborhood out there looking.
I think that was another thing that was mentioned too. That it just don't make no sense. I don't understand why. If this is the thing, if Candace knows something and she's afraid, why doesn't she take the opportunity to move the hell away from Ben Hill, get completely away from there? I mean, if that was the case, she could even probably go into witness protection. And, they would make sure that she was safe. And so I just don't get any of that. And I've heard people say, well, Donnie Candace ain't smart enough to figure anything like that out. They're not smart enough to plan something like that. Are you freaking kidding? I mean, they may not be book smart.
When you got lousy detectives, though, you don't have to be too smart, I don't guess.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's true. I think also, I mean, I know a lot of people are hot and heavy on Hawkins County and shit, and I'm not too crazy about them either. But you're talking about a sheriff's department that didn't have an overabundance of employees to start with.
Right.
And they're getting bombarded with thousands of tips constantly, knowing what happened to Summer, and then they're having to go check that out. And, they got overwhelmed. I can almost guarantee you that they got
but they got too much of a damn ego to accept help from anybody they can get help from.
Well,
when Morgan Nick went missing in Alma, Arkansas is a tiny little town too. They've accepted help from every agency that wanted to help.
I kind of, I've got a lot of different feelings on that, all the way from the reward money, to things going on in that area and in Hawkins County that, maybe they didn't want any outsiders, kind of.
Yeah, they don't want them digging up the skeletons in their closets.
Well,
I remember it's been a while back, but Shay put out a video that was what in my hometown we would call a city council meeting.
Right.
And that's who distributes the money to the police department for this and that and the other and stuff. That they're broke.
Yeah, they're broke because Tim Coop.
And I don't imagine it's changed since she put that video out.
I don't know if you're talking about the same one I am, but Tim Coop, I watched one that Tim Coop was actually in there telling them that, you know, he wasn't trying to basically say anything to get anybody in trouble, but he had no money. He even had Churchill Rescue had to do a GoFundMe for one of their emergency vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, the amount of money that Hawkins County had gotten to help restore their radio signals and all that stuff was in the millions of dollars.
It's because they ain't got somebody in there that knows how to budget money. I mean, my uncle became the mayor of our hometown, and let me tell you something. My aunt and uncle can budget a buck, and they dug up money the city didn't even know they had.
Well,
my uncle built a skate park. He built a skate park. His first meeting, his first day in office, these little skater kids went into his office and said, Mayor Moore, we would like a place to skate. We get run off of all these businesses off their sidewalks and parking lots and stuff, and we would like a place to skate. And my uncle did some research, and the way that man knows how to budget money, he dug up money the city didn't even know they had, and he redid the whole park, put in a skate park for those kids, redid all the sidewalks and the lighting, lamp posts. We have beautiful lamp posts and stuff downtown. I mean, he did so much work to better our town when he got in there.
Halo Wing, I watched one of your videos today. It was really good. I really liked it. Well, what we have to realize too is look how long Lawson's been in office, and you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, he runs undefeated. Who would want that job? Who would want that job?
And you're going to have to get somebody that's got balls enough to run against him and has got, you know, a good education to, you know, get in there and make some changes and do for the better, you know.
Well, that's like, you know, when they first came out and, well, Lawson and Don's related, and it was like that. No, they're not. They are not related, you know. But when you look into generational families out there, everybody's kind of related in one way or another.
And I think the Lawson family is, didn't Ronnie Lawson's dad, wasn't he the sheriff too?
Yeah, one time. And then another sheriff came in, and I don't know, they say he took his life or something. I don't know. You know, and that was shady, but you know, the thing about it is, in an area like that, I'm sure Ronnie Lawson knows everybody, knows where they live, probably knows when they change their underwear, if they even wear underwear. You know, he probably knows, he knows a lot. And for a new sheriff to come into an area like that and try to do a good job, it would probably take years and years for the people to even trust them, you know.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be somebody that's lived there for a significant amount of time, that, you know, they know people too.
Kimberly said the grand jury meets April 10th. Maybe we'll hear something. I hope so. I mean, the grand jury's already met a couple times since Summer went missing. So maybe we will. I mean, I heard Don and Candace went to court. I can't say if that's true or not. I don't have a clue. I just heard
I don't know. I was told that last court date they went to was supposed to be a final court date, and then
I don't know where that started.
Nobody had any information about it.
I don't know where that even started, so I wouldn't even have any idea if that was fact or not.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I just want people to realize, that's why I got into trying, and I love to talk about what I write, because what I have written is word for word fact. But I also like that video I just played. It kind of gives a different take on it. And
Definitely.
like I said, you have professionals who have said that Candace knows something.
And it's time to push her.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's time to shit and get off the pot, as we say here in the
this is
South.
the thing. Number one, she's not stupid, because look how many times that she was on YouTube drunk out of her skull
Mm-hmm.
and never said anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if she's doped up or whatever. She's not going to say anything.
Right.
I mean, until she's ready to say something, she's not going to say anything. And you've got such a dysfunctional relationship. I mean, they're both of them. Oh, you're going to jail. Oh no, I'll make sure you go to jail. They can
Mm-hmm.
put each other in jail for other things besides summer. Is the thing about it. They know
Yeah.
too much about each other. They know
Mm-hmm.
way too much about each other. And I know that I'm vicious when I talk about Don, and I stick by what I say. He's creepy. I don't like him. I wouldn't like him if I met him on the street. I dang sure would not try to even be in that vicinity of him. He's a
No.
creep.
No.
Candace, I kind of go back and forth on. There's times when, I feel so bad for her for being the mother of a little missing girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, and people don't realize this. If you take the empathy and sympathy away from the whole situation in general,
Mm-hmm.
how much better does that make you than them? Because it doesn't seem like I don't know. Don doesn't seem like he has a lot of empathy or sympathy for anybody but himself.
Exactly. I mean, that floored me when they said, "Well, what do you think should happen to the person that took Summer?" Well, I don't think they ought to go to jail. Jail's a horrible place to go. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Someone took my daughter. You better hang them by their toenails at dawn.
He does go back and forth, because what he does is he'll say something like that, and then when he's drunk or something and he's on somebody's live, I'll kill the man, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And it's like, but where have they showed that? Kathy, the friend, says she's got video of them out looking. But this is the thing. To me, if my child's missing, I don't think I'm going to get in a car and drive 20 miles an hour down the road. I think I would rather get out on foot and walk and call her name and have somebody else in a vehicle.
Or or even if I have to get on a four-wheeler or something.
You have to look too. I mean, EquiSearch was there. EquiSearch is good. They are very good at what they do. And, Dave Radar said himself, things wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I'm sorry, but why? Dawn went to work. What do you mean, what's up in Florida? Ashley?
There's something always going on in Florida. Every day.
What's up in Florida with Dawn? Dawn was born in Florida, if I remember right. I can get my writing that I have up out about Dawn. He was born in Florida, I believe. But I mean, just craziness. But like I said, if you're really following this case and you haven't got upset, you haven't cried, you haven't screamed, you haven't hollered, you haven't wanted to punch your computer screen, you know, Ashley Smith says, yeah, look, what am I looking for, Ashley? I don't know. Oh, you want me to look at my writings? All right. Only for you, Ashley. Oh, I don't have my light on.
I got to step away for a minute.
All right. I'm going to see if I can find my writings about Don here real quick for Ashley. I know he was born in Florida. Don Wells. Where are you at, Donnie? Donnie Wells. Ashley, I've got 500 pages of notes here, darling. Let's see, that's on Candace because that's what I was reading last time. Oh my gosh, Ashley, you got me looking through all this. I will read you the Appalachian Princess before I get off here. That was something that I wrote for Summer a while back. All right. But yeah, Don was born in Florida. And I know he lived there also. Oh, goodness. Girl, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it right now. You can email me, Ashley. And I'll let you know what you need to know. It's easier if you give me time to look it up because I'm serious. I mean, I will show you my notes really fast, so just so you know. This is all my writings. This isn't all my writings. This is just what I have printed out. Okay? So, girl, believe me, when somebody says look for something, unless I've got it in order, I get completely lost. Here, I'll throw my email in here for you. But yeah, I'm always good if you want to email me. I'll be glad to help you find anything that I have. I do not mind doing that. There you go. That's my email. I was showing her
I've
how
been having
much.
a bit of a rough day.
Are you
My
doing all
back
right?
has been well, I had that iron. I went to the hematologist on Wednesday, or let's see, Thursday, and then I went to pain management on Friday and back to the hematologist after I went to pain management because it's just around the corner from there. And I had to get iron by IV. They gave me a bag of iron.
Yeah, my sister had to do that.
And but we had this cold front hit us in Arkansas, and man, my damn back is just throbbing.
That's what happened to me too, because I woke up this morning and it was ice and snow out, and oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it about wiped me out. And I could hardly move. And if I fall asleep and I'm flat on my back and then I wake up, I cannot move at all.
Yeah. I've just been laying down. I was laying down before you came on, and
well, I'm glad you popped over. I mean, I was so sick, I almost didn't even get on. But I seen that with Cam, and I thought, come on.
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't pay no attention to him. I don't watch his channel. I tried for a little while, but I just feel like he just ignores too much, and he's just too naive.
I get frustrated when I hear, because I was like, all right,
I mean,
Dudley,
it's okay if you want to be supportive of them and you want to not think that they're guilty and you want to do good things and nice things for them. That's your prerogative,
I mean, I don't,
you know, but
believe
you
me,
just
I'm
can't
not
sit and
saying,
ignore stuff
I'm
like he
not,
does.
I'm not saying nothing bad about Cam or anything, but
Yeah.
I listened to that call and it was like, well, I'm Ryan from this newspaper. And then finally Dudley was like, who are you? And he was like, I'm Edward from the Times. And I was like, whatever.
Like, why would he have to make up who he was? I mean, he gave an interview to Betty and Molly and them. I mean,
That's what I said,
it's not like you have to. I'm Walter Cronkite, or Barbara Walters.
Yeah, because I really don't think
Come on.
I really don't think that Dudley would have hung up on him or anything.
No.
But the thing about it, I think what I'm trying to say is he tried to make it sound like that the information that he got from the couple questions that he asked Dudley was, was I don't know, but Dudley,
Something important.
I believe
something
what Dudley
exclusively
said,
told to him, or what?
Because he asked. I don't know. I guess he was trying to say that Jody Sue said that Dudley sold her that yellow vehicle he had. And Dudley was like, no, I still got my vehicle. So basically, this is what got me, though. Because basically, he made sure to tell
What is Dudley selling Jody Sue a vehicle? How does that bring Summer Wells home?
It doesn't.
Exactly.
And this was the thing too, because he was like, and you did an interview with I think the person's name was Bullhorn Betty or something, and he was like, well, yeah, and he was like, well,
he's just trying to start beef with her.
He was like, I'm just gonna let you know, you should stay away from them people. I'm like,
oh, yes.
Him about who you were, and you're going to tell him to stay away from people who were at least honest with him and took him
exactly.
I mean, seriously, they took Dudley and his wife to dinner, and
right, and they all asked questions. Molly asked questions, Betty asked questions, Jonathan asked questions. Everybody got their interview. And this whole creator drama, and I'm better than you, and I know more than you, and got more information than you, and I got this exclusive interview. Are we in elementary school again? I mean, is it just a bunch of adults going through midlife crisis, or what? It's silly.
Oh, now Don Wells was born in Florida. I have that right here. Let me find.
I tell people what experience I have and what work I've done for the last 20-something years, and that's what you get.
Well, I haven't had to interview anybody because I've just watched everybody else's interviews and wrote them down.
Yeah. Well, I've not interviewed anybody either. I mean, I just discuss the things that I want to discuss and the questions I have, or an issue I might have with this or that or the other involving my case, on my own channel. And, and I try to be as factual as possible.
Like I said, I went through them interviews, and when you're transcribing interviews, you have to go back and listen to them over and over and over so you can get it word for word. And I know I drive people crazy when I'm talking about reading some of the stuff that I wrote because, Don says all the time. Oh, shoot.
I know that's my worst habit when I'm talking on my channel.
Yeah, Don says all the time. I've got my writings pulled up. I accidentally hit a button there. Let me see. I'm getting to it here. Girl, I mean, I've just got page after page after page, and I think what I'm glad about, because as I wrote it, I have the times and everything else. I'm still meaning to send you that time thing you wanted to, Ruby. I haven't forgot that. I promise I'll get that to you.
You know, the reason why, see, I done been through all this crap. My youngest daughter's cousin and I were running a missing persons page with thousands and thousands of followers.
Right.
And we both did, you know, independent research on a case, an unsolved cold case. And anyway, she asked me about talking to some people, and she's like, do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it? And I was like, you can do it. I don't care. You know, I thought we were a team. And then, so she does it. And then when I go to ask her, well, what did they say? She starts trying to be shady and holding back stuff. Well, in the meantime, someone from the family contacted me. Someone else from the family contacted me on Facebook. And she thought that I went behind her back and was trying to, you know, shade her into getting some information and blah, blah. First of all, I thought we were a team. Second of all, look, here's a screenshot. You can clearly see that this woman contacted me first. I did not contact her. You can see it on the messenger thing. And she called me a liar and said, you're just as shady as the rest of those girls and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? That case is solved now. And what she lost was a lifelong friend.
Actually, I do know where at in Florida. I just can't find it right here off the top of my head here.
You lost a lifelong friend over some,
well, I mean,
crap that from people that you don't even know.
That's my thing too. Okay. I just throughout this process, you know, I've had.
That's what everybody does. Everybody makes this a competition.
I had somebody who I talked to for months, was my friend, continuously said, I got your back, I got your back, I got your back. And I'm like, why do you have my back? I haven't done anything for you to have my back. You know, I don't see where anybody's done anything to me that you need to have my back from anybody else.
Yeah, I told you about my friend that she and I had done activist work, a lot of activist work and stuff, and she got upset with me over the election.
Oh,
and who I voted for, and I was like, you're willing to throw all that away that we worked so hard on? You're willing to throw that away over Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, who don't, neither one of them give two shits about either one of us? I mean, come on. That is ridiculous.
I heard they were ready to arrest Trump, is what I heard.
I saw that over on Twitter today, and I'm so sick of this mess.
Yeah, it's all over the news.
He must really be a threat to somebody, because they have just done, the media and the Democrats have done everything in their power to take him down. And he's obviously a threat to somebody.
He did his crap with the taxes, and then he had those files that he wasn't supposed to have from the White House. And I mean,
they found a whole bunch of shit in Joe Biden's houses too.
I hate to say it because I don't get into politics with anybody.
Right.
If they take Trump, they need to take Hunter Biden along with him.
And
then they need to handle the rest.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's right. You can't arrest someone for the one crime and not arrest somebody else for the same damn crime or whatever. This is horse shit.
Well, I'll say allegedly on this and put out a
If he
trigger
weren't
warning.
that damn important and that much of a dadgum threat to somebody, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take him down.
I will put allegedly and trigger warning out on this because I have a video of a trafficking survivor who was basically trafficked by her parents when she was younger. That swears up and down that she was led through this tunnel into a room, and one of the people in the room was allegedly Biden.
I wouldn't surprise me a bit.
No, that's what she says.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit. Nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing. Absolutely nothing shocks me anymore.
It's a crazy world we live in for sure. Crazy, crazy world.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was having a discussion. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet, because I don't know if you've ever followed it, but I've heavily followed the disappearance of MH370, the Malaysian plane that disappeared.
Right.
And for years, I've talked with aviation experts and stuff on Twitter, and everyone has their theory about what happened to that plane. And Netflix has got a new docuseries out, and it's Jeff Wise, who's an idiot, and Mike Exner and Blaine Gibson and Florence DeChaney, and then this lady from Florida. And all it is a bunch more conspiracy theories, and it tells us nothing new or nothing that we didn't already know or suspect. And so I did a review of it, and I got brutal and I got honest about it. And I've been having people responding to me on Twitter about it. And
I've not ever been on Twitter. I barely get on Facebook. My daughter will be like, Mom, I sent you something on Facebook. And I'm like, I ain't looked at my Facebook.
Because there's two theories that I believe in about MH370. There's two different theories that I, firmly lean toward. And, of course, other people have their theories and stuff. So it's, and it's kind of a competition thing too.
Right.
But yeah, I don't put nothing past anybody about anything anymore.
Well, I thought about maybe having
you look at the sophistication and planning and all that went into 9/11 and the attack.
Right.
All those, if one variable had gone wrong, that wouldn't have been able to, we wouldn't have had the same ending as what we had. And, with the Pentagon, that did go wrong because the passengers tried to intervene, and so it didn't end up actually, the one that crashed in the field, instead of, I think it was supposed to be I think it was supposed to have hit the Pentagon, but it crashed in a field.
There was also
because passengers intervened. But you look into the sophistication behind that, and I don't put nothing past anybody.
They're talking about another plane that hasn't been talked about. I think they're getting ready to do some kind of show about it. Somebody is. I'll have to find it and let you know.
I don't know what other plane is missing.
There's another plane. There's another plane that they're talking about that hasn't been talked about. And the people that were on the plane can't figure out why it was never talked about. So, yeah,
I don't know. Another plane from Malaysia, or just another plane is it from America, or where's it from?
Yeah, from America. it was coming, I can't remember where it was coming from. Dynamite is on, and all it is a middle finger. I don't know. I don't know where that's going. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, these people, they are hard on each other, Ruby. They are hard on each other. You know, and bless her heart, somebody mentioned somebody not having a brain tumor or something, and it just bothered me because, you know, my daughter almost died of a brain tumor, and it was just devastating for all of us. So, you know, I had to leave a comment and say, you know, I know you don't like that person, and you know, you guys have done things to each other, but you know, that just kind of hit me not right, you know.
Well,
but I'm just the type of person, if somebody says something that kind of throws me off, I'll leave a comment and tell them, you know, I don't go on somewhere and go, oh my gosh, that person said this and this and this. I'm like, I'm
not here for that. I'm not here for that crap. Like I said, I done been there and done that shit, and I don't want no part of it.
You know,
and if people got anything they want to say about me, then so be it. You know, I'm not going to sit and argue with people that don't even know me.
I watch the Real Gypsy too, and she had to put out something about Benny was going after Ernie again. And I said, I left her a comment and I said, what happened to his rap career?
Exactly. Yeah, I thought he was leaving YouTube for a rap career.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh my God, that is such a damn
Actually, the
joke.
bad thing about the White House is a lot of times we don't know the truth about anything for 20 years after it happens.
Exactly.
And that's the truth.
You know what's crazy? I got to tell you about this documentary I watched. You know, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories in behind Marilyn Monroe's death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I watched one that said that, and I do believe in the conspiracy that Kennedy's killed her. I do believe the Kennedys killed her.
Sleeping with Bobby and
Yes, Bobby Kennedy went to her house that night. But anyway, there was this, I watched this whole documentary on how, you know, there's all these theories behind these mobsters and gangsters, and how Marilyn Monroe's house was bugged and all kinds of stuff by some of these mafia people that had problems with JFK and Bobby Kennedy. So they were trying to get dirt on them and stuff. But this whole documentary was about that JFK had told Marilyn Monroe the truth about, what's that town where the alien ship allegedly landed?
Area 51?
No, not Area 51. What was that back in the 50s or 60s where
I can't
Roswell, yeah, that he had told her the truth about what really happened at Roswell, and that's why she was taken out.
Right. I think she was more taken out because she was poking two brothers at the same time, and I'm sure that Mrs. Kennedy wasn't very happy about that, and she was a prim and proper lady, and I'm sure that no, did anybody think that old mama may have taken her out in one way or another?
Well, no, her maid that lived there with her, there's stuff that she would not speak about, and Lord, she was washing bed sheets and cleaning and stuff when the police arrived and all that. So
there's some secrets that she has carried, but according to Marilyn's autopsy, she had to have taken sleeping medication at 2 different times, or been given sleeping medication at 2 different times. And what I believe, but that there was no pill, the little things surrounding pills. There was no, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought they found barbiturates in her system.
They did, but the shells of the pills, whatever you want to call them, had not dissolved or something. Anyway, she got 2 different doses, and I believe that Bobby Kennedy delivered that fatal dose to her.
Yeah,
I believe that with all of my heart.
Good possibility.
And what's his name? That was kin to him. That was an author, and his career fell apart after all that. Oh shit! What's his damn name?
I don't know. But,
anyway, that he knows about it. He knows what happened that night. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Called it the Kennedy curse, because if you remember Martha Moxley,
the
Kennedy boys.
Yep.
That was, who was their dad? Was it Teddy Kennedy was their dad?
I don't even remember.
And one beat her to death with a golf club. She was young. She was a young neighbor that lived by him. And one of the brothers beat her to death with a golf club. And went to prison over it after years and years and years. But I think what was messed up, if I remember right, he got tried as like a juvenile, because when he did it, he was a juvenile. So I can't remember what his name was, Billy or something. Thank you for coming in, Ashley. I appreciate you. Email me if you want. All right, Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm fixing to lay back down myself.
Well, I hope you get to feeling better. So,
man, I don't know if I moved a certain way or did something, and maybe my vertebrae is pressing on some more nerve endings or what. But man, my spine has just been throbbing all day.
I mean, this cold weather just killed me when I got up this morning.
And I think it's supposed to get down to like 27 or 28, maybe tonight or tomorrow night. I don't remember. I got to look back at the weather, but
yeah, I think just all the stress for my dog, and I was up for a few nights with her and up and down all night, and then having her put to sleep, and I think all of that finally just caught up with me. And usually I don't get really stressed out about stuff, and then I'll get to a point where I just get sick to my stomach. So
oh girl, I know. Well, Saturdays is usually my day that I just lay in bed and watch Law and Order SVU reruns on Ion.
Yeah, that's what I do. I watch scary movies all the time. So
yeah,
usually on the weekends I love watching scary movies. But I just happened to see that.
I'm an old Hollywood. I love Mae West and Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield and Barbara Stanwyck, and
I just happened to see that clip that Cam did, and I thought, why would you even put that out there? Because any common sense person is going to look at that and go, why the hell did you lie to the guy?
So stupid.
Oh my God. I couldn't help myself. I just thought, oh, quit putting shit out there, people.
Absolutely insane. I want no part of that stupid shit.
That was so crazy to me.
I'm fine with my 3 or 4 or 5 people that come in my chat room, and
I was like,
You know,
okay.
I don't even want that headache.
By the time I seen him lie like that, I mean, he didn't sound very professional for being a newspaper investigator.
Exactly.
Cam, we want to have a little bit of hope for you, okay?
Oh my God.
All right, Ruby, I'm off of here.
It's always good talking to you, Mary. I enjoy it, and I enjoy our conversations about summer. And
you can always call me if you want. You know my number.
yes, I sure will. But everybody have a great day, and let's bring summer home now, please, somehow, some way.
Because it's been too long.
Yes.
It's been too long, and people need to quit playing games. And
yes, amen.
I'm not saying not all of them aren't putting out some good stuff, because, you know, I've seen quite a few people. Lil Wings putting out wonderful stuff. Killer Looks is putting out some really good stuff. You know, I'm not saying nobody ain't putting out good stuff, but, you know, have it mean something. Don't come on and
definitely.
oh, well, I know this, but I'm not going to say anything. It's like, don't do that. You know, have the balls to say what you're talking about.
That's so childish. I know something you don't know. Want to know?
Yeah. You want to know? Stay with me, become a member, and pay me $50 a month. And in a year, I'll let you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So ridiculous.
All right, Ruby. I'll see you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley, Lil Wing, and Victoria, Candalee, Linda Wilson, Victoria, Kiki. Kiki, it's always nice to see you pop in here. I appreciate you guys. And Ruby, of course. All right. Peace out, you guys.